okay?
There we go. Pin end favoured. So they're in a left phasing of the wind. That was from Morgan Larson.
Push and tack or take the bias. A lot of port on the beat though, okay? A lot of port on the beat.
So that, again, Martin, a lot of port in the beat. What he's saying there is they're going to spend a lot of the beat on port tack. So push and tack down at the pin end or win the pin end. So one of these teams, have a listen here from Emirates Team New Zealand as they now go into their first circle. As Barker jibes and then pulls the boat bow down. They're heading away from the committee boat.
115, 30 to kill to the pin.
30 to kill, copy. Keep going that line.
Four above it here.
30 to kill, 30 seconds early to the pin end, and 4 boat lengths high on the ley line to the pin. As really now it looks like the pattern has been set with Emirates Team New Zealand on the left, Mascalzoni Latino on the right. Now back from the start line. And it's Mascalzoni Latino in the windward position, required to keep clear.
1 minute to go in the start of this first race of the day, one of the final round-robin races, and a huge amount hinging on this race now as we head to the line.
Not much to kill now, and you could hear Ray Davies wanted to reduce the gauge between the two boats. Still early for the start. Coming up to 35 seconds to go. Emirates Team New Zealand on the left. And we did hear there was a bit of bias on the line towards the pin end. On the bow, Jeremy Lomas on the bow of Emirates Team New Zealand. Both boats still early. So now they're in the wind-up. It's Mascalzoni Latino on the right, Emirates Team New Zealand on the left. Boats now gauging together. The windward boat, Mascalzoni Latino, required to keep clear. Bowman calling the bow down for Gavin Brady. So off the line, right down at the pin end. Over, someone's over. We need to just yellow over. So Mascalzoni Latino over the line early. We could see that Bowman was calling Gavin Brady down, but it's Mascalzoni Latino that have broken early on the start. And Emirates Team New Zealand off clean. Martin, short course, hard to recover.
Very hard to recover. That's a major shooting in the foot by Gavin Brady on Mascalzoni Latino. That is a disaster for the Italian hosts here. They are right on the back foot, well, what's left of it after the shooting. And well, Peter Rush, you would have seen that clearly from your umpire boat. How were they calling it there?
Well, it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. They were running out of runway, absolutely nowhere to go for Mascalzoni Latino, and I think it was by the time they realized they weren't going to have the room, they didn't have time to tack and dip below the line, although in retrospect that might have been the smarter option, because as it was, you can see they're miles behind off the starting line. Very nice timing on board Emirates Team New Zealand. They were right at the pin end. They didn't have much room to spare, but they had enough. And being in that position, they were able to keep Mascalzoni from bearing off, doing a speed build, and clearing the line correctly. So they've turned back. It was a pretty quick turn down by Mascalzoni, but even at that, they are miles behind now.
Emirates Team New Zealand approaching the top mark for the first time. Beautiful start by Barker. It's right on. Jules Salter will have just given Barker the information needed. Both boats were certainly pushing hard for the pin end. Bear away set by Emirates Team New Zealand. The pole on the windward side of the forestay. They won't push hard. They don't need to on the Kiwi boat. As they come round, the sneak of the Jenica up underneath the Genoa. Up goes the Jenica, and that's clean. It's a clean set. The Genoa now dropped down on the deck as we're on Mascalzoni Latino, panning across, having a look.
Normal, we're going to tack on normal ley line. You got enough time for the build.
It's all pretty tidy on Emirates Team New Zealand. We can hear the horn going there. That is change of course. Of course, the afterguards have been communicating with Peter Reggio about that one as Barker has a look over his shoulder. At the top mark, it was 55 seconds. Big lead to Emirates Team New Zealand.
Round the top mark they come. Up goes the pole, bear away set.
Little riding puff here, so longer.
It's almost practice time, isn't it, really, for Emirates Team New Zealand at this stage.
A little bit of righty puff, so that means the wind has actually gone more to the right. That'll actually head the boats, Emirates Team New Zealand, so it'll be a barrel weight set. So the wind has gone to the right, so that will mean that they'll lay closer down to the finish. As Barker brings the boat down, Jenica goes up underneath the Genoa. So we just look at Emirates Team New Zealand now. Round mark 3 on the run to the finish. Down comes the Genoa.
Well, there's the gap. Well, there's two gaps. There's the gap between Emirates Team New Zealand and the gap between Emirates Team New Zealand and the finish. And it's not very long on one side, and it's a very long way on the other. So refreshments for the skipper. Job done. Not an onerous task at all today. He did a really nice job in the start box. Paid off very nicely. There it goes. The horn goes up. The yellow flag will have popped up on the committee boat.
It was a very pin-favoured line, so it was going to be a start where I'm sure both boats wanted to benefit from that line bias. And we led back at a very good time where it was difficult for Maddalena to jump us. And so they ended up a little bow forward on us, and then it was always going to be a tough position for them to start at pace. So they tried to get right down that pin end and maximise the bias, but we managed to, our timing was spot on for the pin, so they were in effect pushed over the line. And that was pretty much the race there, to be honest. It was not shifting too much, and one of the better sailing days we've had, so it was pretty much a follow the leader from that point. So the guys did a great job. Jules and Gero on the bow of their time distance and picking the time to push back, lead back.
Artemis up against All for One. Both boats heading back towards the committee boat inside.
Time past him if he nails his ley line, okay?
All for One leading back. Artemis coming from behind.
No change in the call, right, if you can.
Right if you can for John Cutler. All for One look like John Cutler is calling they want the right-hand side. He's communicating that to Sebastian Cole.
He's like a 2.3, but
All for One, they're sailing into, they're quite way outside the box at the moment as they start to head back in with less than a minute to go now to the start.
Coming up to 43 seconds to go. You can hear Paul Kayard just keeping an eagle eye on All for One. So Artemis have got the right-hand side, and we did hear from John Cutler they would have liked the right.
This is fine, Seb, he just said.
He's happy if you're on the left, you need to be tight, Martin. So now we have the boats are set for the start. 18 seconds to go. Artemis to windward, All for One to leeward, right up on that port, up on the committee boat ley line. 10 seconds to go. Now the speed build. We can see the overlap there from the observer as Artemis now come up on the windward side of All for One. So off the line, it's going to be Artemis on the right and bow forward.
Artemis very much bow forward. We're into the final race of round robin 1 in the Louis Vuitton Trophy in La Maddalena. Artemis in the right with a bit of a march away here, and a beautiful start by Terry Hutchinson. Another one. He's been on fire in this regatta. Terrific starting there. Stunning pictures from this great location here at La Maddalena, off the Italian island of Sardegna. On the bow of Artemis, Andy Feathers getting the kite ready, and it's all looking great for Artemis. And hard again for All for One to come back on this. As you say, they've got to minimise their losses.
Terry, if he mirrors away, we'll beat him too.
They've got to minimise their losses and try and get themselves in a position to mount some kind of attack.
But payday for Terry Hutchinson was at the top of the course. Payday for a beautiful start, right over to the ley line on the port, and it was in the last 5 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes to the top mark that Artemis have really extended their lead. And Sebastian Cole and the All for One team, they've minimised their loss, but Artemis are almost comfortable as we still look for 15 seconds, 3 boat lengths.
Okay, Terry.
Kayard's already said, well, whatever one we take, they're going to take the other one.
Talking about the split, what they'll be looking for is this famous split breeze that we've seen so much of in here in La Maddalena. It's made the racing so interesting.
I think as long as we can beat them to the tack, then we go straight into pressure, which is good.
Paul, this will be you, eh?
Okay, so there's the strategy. All for One want to be first to tack.
Gloomy, Maddie.
Peter Rush coming to the gate. How's it looking?
Yeah, well, certainly, as you've been saying, All for One has closed this game up. Maybe about a boat length and a half clear behind right now. And the Spinnaker just coming down on Artemis now as they wind it on and suck it down into that hatch. All for One is still charging down. They're going to do a late drop. They're trying to get everything they can out of this, but of course, that puts a bit more pressure on the crew. Nice and tidy on Artemis, All for One. They're already starting their turn. Spinnaker still coming into the boat, but the guys have done a nice job. It looks like a good drop on both boats, and the pole still to come down on All for One, but really, they have closed it up, and they're going to put a little bit of pressure here on Artemis, I think, and we should have a good second beat, guys. So this is going to be another close cross coming up as they come in, and we'll see Artemis coming across. I think they can still get clear ahead. They'll come in and roll into attack, and it's very close now here, guys. Artemis rolling into that tack. It's a strong leave-out tack. The guys on All for One, they're not tacking. They're not tacking initially. They're going to try and roll and push over the top. A nice gain here for All for One. A strong position here now for Jochen Schumann and Seb Cole.
Nearly matching.
Very good work there by All for One. They've certainly, since the bottom mark, positioned themselves beautifully, and it's looking like at the beginning of a lead change here.
More pressure for us, more right-hander.
Well, that's all good for All for One. More pressure.
Lead changes.
We're looking at a lead change here, and it's All for One on the right. They've passed Artemis on the upwind. Crew work will be a big one here. So this is Mark 3. We've had a lead change on the upwind. All for One are ahead. They're on the run to the finish. Artemis, can they challenge from behind? It's a decent sort of a lead as the clock's still running down. As Jibe set, or the Indian coming up for Artemis. That's the harder manoeuvre. It's the slower manoeuvre, but it is it does put Artemis on the right-hand side.
That's a big leap ahead for All for One, who now lead Artemis on the run for home. Sebastian Cole, he'll be thrilled with this because Artemis, arch rival, John Cutler.
Beautifully, this one, beautifully, you know, engineered by Sebastian Cole, John Cutler.
We're in good shape.
Bottom mark gate, that's where it was. They exited the gate beautifully. They pushed on port.
They keep stretching.
They picked the time when they came back in pressure on starboard, and they got a piece. So that's a come-from-behind victory for All for One over Artemis and Martin. That means they win the round-robin stage of the Louis Vuitton Trophy here in La Maddalena, and that's why they're so happy.
Well, you can see that. That says everything, doesn't it? That's a huge achievement for these guys. They get the bragging rights. They're top of the table at the end of round robin 1. Artemis, well, they look like they've got it in the bag. Fantastic fight back from All for One.
Yeah, things worked out really well for us. We were always a fan of the right-hand side, and we didn't get it off the start line, but we kept it close. And then round the bottom mark, we managed to get our tack in ahead of Artemis and stretch out to the right-hand side. So it all worked out really well. So we're very pleased with that.
So there we have it, all for one. The handshakes, the slaps on the back, the cheers, that's because that's where they are, up at the top, all for one.